Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuznos here, and today's video is going to be sort of a different topic, and I'll be talking about and showing you how to save a ton of money while PVMing and really cut down on unneeded costs during PVM, and just show you some tips on how to make PVM a cheaper experience and help you save a ton of money and make those profit margins even bigger when bossing. You'll be able to kill all the monsters you want while using these tips and save even more money while doing it. Speaking of monsters though, I want to thank Monster Legends for sponsoring this video. Monster Legends is a free-to-play mobile game available on both Android and iOS. In Monster Legends, you will collect different monsters, choose different skills, and boost your strategy in action-packed battles. You can start by building a world for your monsters to live in. You can fill it with habitats and breed monsters of different elements and rarities to create cool and new species. There are different PvP modes like the special dungeons and the adventure map where you can fight in real time against your friends. You can also team up with other monster masters to chat, strategize, and fight in epic team wars and earn exclusive monsters. Level up your monsters for the battles ahead and rank them up in the Monster Lab to break their limits. In Monster Legends, there are hundreds of different monsters to collect. There are new events every week to discover and play a new adventure. Now, my personal favorite part of the game is just how many different monsters there are to collect and how much fun it is to try to get them all. If you hang out in my streams, you know that I love monster collecting games, and Monster Legends perfectly fits the bill. You can download Monster Legends for free through my link in the description to get this special reward worth $30 for a limited time only until July 3rd. Alright, so now we are going to get into some ways to save you some money while PVMing while not sacrificing much in terms of performance. The first thing we're going to look at now is food. Now this may seem really simple, but we're going to break down some of the heals per cost. So first thing is we're going to look at some of the most commonly used food for PVM, which is sailfish. Now sailfish heal 2400 life points and cost 5.5k GP, which means your cost per life points healed is around 2.3 GP per life points. Also, something like a rocktail soup that is commonly used for high-level PVM heals 2500 life points and costs you 15k, so you're looking at around a 6 GP per life point cost. But now we're going to get into some of the budget options that I recommend for doing PVM with. Of course, if you're doing super high-level PVM and can afford a little bit of the extra cost, you might use the higher cost version. So first we're going to be looking at Cavefish, which costs 3k GP each and heals 2200 life points. I feel this is a great option as you're spending 1.36 GP per life point, which is significantly lower than the previous options I talked about. After this, we have the classic shark, which is also really good, as you pay 2.4k for a shark and it heals you 2000 life points for a total of 1.22 GP per life points. Now we're going to be looking at a super budget food option for something like Slayer or really low level PVM. And for this, the beltfish is king. The beltfish costs around 795 GP and it heals 1650 life points, costing only 0.48 GP per life points healed. So in terms of PVM and what food you should use, this is what I would recommend for most people. I would say for high-level PVM, it is worth it to use something like sailfish. But in terms of something like mid-level PVM, something like cavefish or shark is a great option to save money and boost your profits even higher. For low-level PVM and Slayer, beltfish really does get the job done and is ultra cheap and provides just enough heals to get you through your Slayer task or low-level bosses. Food adds up way more than you think, and while at high level PVM, if you're good at a boss, you don't really have to worry about how much you spend because of all the money you'll be making. But if you're just starting out at a boss, or you're doing mid or low level PVM, taking into account what food you use is really going to save you a ton of money. Alright, so the next thing we're going to look at to save money while PVMing is the Ring of Death. Now, the Ring of Death costs around 67 mil and will most likely pay for itself. The Ring of Death is a ring that can be charged with onyxes, and when you die, you won't have to pay anything to reclaim your items. You will also keep your familiars and stats restored at a cost of 15% of the ring's charge. This equates to about 1 million GP with today's prices. This means if you are someone who has a death cost of 1 mil or over, the Ring of Death is an absolutely great option for you. Not only will it save you money if you are to die, it will also keep your familiar and everything stored in your familiar, including food and potions. If you're someone that is just starting to get into high level PVM or even do mid-level PVM and are prone to dying, this ring is amazing, and it also has really good stats. Now, another thing we're going to look at is the Sign or Portent of Life. It's another great option for saving money when PVMing. The reason is because wearing the Sign of Life or using the Defense Cape perk or the Portent of Life in your inventory will allow you to be revived if you are killed. This is essentially saving you around 1 million GP if you were to die, as it negates death once per hour. And it's really cheap, and everyone should have this as either a Defense Cape perk or a Portent of Life in your inventory. You will need 99 Invention for the Portent or 99 Defense for the Cape perk, but you could just buy a Sign of Life if you're okay with foregoing the pocket slot item area. Trust me though, the Sign of Life effect will save you so much money and unwanted death costs. Lastly, we're going to be looking at the Portent of Item Protection, which is a portent requiring level 92 divination to make, and it will basically allow the player to keep 5 items instead of 4 during death. If you're someone who doesn't use a Ring of Death, this can be a great way to save money while PVMing. It can really save you a ton. For example, with my normal Raksha setup, without the Portent of Item Protection, it costs me 2 million GP to reclaim my items. But if I have the Portent in my inventory, it only costs me 1.3 mil to reclaim my items. If I'm not using a Ring of Death and using something like a Reaver's Ring, which I usually do at Raksha, this is a great way to save some cash if I were to die. So next we're going to talk about potions. Now this is under the same premise as food, but you can really cut down your costs. So for one, there's potion flasks. Now most people doing high level PVM use things like Ceridome and Brew flasks and Super Restore flasks in their inventory. However, you don't always need these flasks, and I'm guilty of this too. You can use something like a Super Restore and brew vials with 4 doses and spend significantly less money. For instance, you can get 8 doses of a Ceridome and Brew for 36k using vials, while getting 6 doses of the same Ceridome and Brew cost 44k while using a flask. A Super Restore flask costs 25k, while you can get 8 doses of a Super Restore for only 14k. Now, the best way to base if you want to use your flask or not is depending on where you're going for PVM. A place like Araxi or Telos, or somewhere where having extra brews or prayer in your inventory could save your life, it's probably worth it to use the flasks. However, for things like God Wars 2 or more casual bosses that you're gonna camp, vials are probably the way to go as they are significantly cheaper, and the only downside is you may have to bank sooner, but with how quick you can bank using the PVM hub, I think it'll be worth it to use vials instead of flasks at these places. So finally, another thing that you can do to save GP when PVMing is to get some health and prayer restoring items. For prayer, you can invest in an ancient elven ritual shard for 17 million GP, and when activated, it restores 37.5% of the player's total prayer points over 30 seconds with a 5-minute cooldown. This is great for things like Slayer, God Wars 1, God Wars 2, and it can really save you a good chunk of change during your boss farming. Lastly, something like the Enhanced Excalibur is unlocked by doing the Seer's Hard Diary achievements, and it will heal you with health after activation and will save you some money on food. This is a good combination along with the Ancient Elven Ritual Shard, and these two items together can really save you a decent amount when PVMing. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video and it helped you out, to figure out some ways to save some money when PVMing and increase your profits to be even greater. Now I want to thank again Monster Legends for sponsoring this video. If you guys want the free reward, make sure you sign up using the link in the description and you can download Monster Legends. It's honestly really fun, so I would highly recommend it. But yeah guys, I just want to thank you for watching the video and let me know if you know any other money saving tips for PVM that don't really sacrifice your performance or anything. Let me know in the comments, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.